It was the summer before my senior year of high school, and I was asking God, what am I going to do with my life when I graduate? It freaked me out to think about college, making decisions about what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. But I remember God telling me clearly, worship me. And I remember Him clearly asking me to bring that into my school, the place where I was at in that moment. So I went to my best friend and I said, I think we need to lead a night of worship in our high school. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know the name. I don't know who's going to be there. I don't know how we're going to do this, but I think it needs to be big and I think it needs to be in our high school. And she was crazy enough to say, okay, let's do it. A group of 12 high school students got together and we started planning a night of worship. And I remember asking, what are we going to call this? What are we going to do? And I went to a restaurant with my friend. We sat down. We started writing out all these ideas, terrible ideas, all these different things, trying to figure out what could this be about. What about light? Let's talk about light, maybe being the salt and the light, and just writing down awful names, awful ideas. And we sat there for 3 hours, not knowing what this was going to be, what it was going to be called. And I remember the song Hit Me Baby One More Time came on the radio in the restaurant. So it's 3 hours into the day, we were going crazy, and I jokingly prayed to God, give me a sign, hit me baby one more time. And as soon as I sang those words out loud, I looked down at the table, and on a sign on the table, it said Enlightened. And it stuck out to me more than any other word on the sign, and I saw it and I said, that's it. We need to tell our peers the call that we have and enlighten them on the call to do ministry in our school. It's a mission field. So we decided to start Enlightened events in 2014. At the first Enlightened event in 2014, with all these students gathering in the room, I remember standing there and seeing a dream become a reality, of students actually standing in that space worshiping God in their school campus. And afterwards, people kept coming up and asking us, what are you going to do when this is over? What's going to happen? The most important thing for that first Enlightened event was the follow-up. We started praying in our school. We joined Claim Your Campus, building more groups at our school and in other schools as well. And groups started coming together in the mornings. We started praying for people in the hallways, praying for real issues that were happening all around us, and seeing change in my friends' lives that I would never expected. I remember a friend came up to me a week after the event and he said, Olivia, after what happened at Enlightened, I've just been thinking about it all week and trying to wrap my mind around what you guys are doing in schools. And I got down on my knees last night in my room before I went to bed and gave my life to Jesus. I was so moved by what he's doing. And story after story, we hear life change of people looking at issues that they were struggling with and seeing hope for the first time in Jesus Christ. Friends who were contemplating suicide actually seeing Jesus in the life that he promised them. I can't tell you all the stories that I heard after that first event, and what happened in one night continued throughout that year as we did other events, and starting in different states too. We went to Missouri that year. The next year following that, we went to Indiana. To now see this ministry grow, we're in several states and several schools. Thousands of students are getting together and being impacted in their schools because students want to step up and worship Christ in their schools, bringing about change, telling people the call that we have to do something different and to see this transformation through Christ lived out in our schools. This is something I cannot tell you how privileged I am to see time and time again, because right now, I'm not in high school anymore. I graduated. And Enlighten continues because it's God's movement in students to continue this ministry, to do only what he can call them to do. And now students are leading their peers in worship and prayer in high school campuses, public high schools, Christian high schools, where hundreds of students gather to see Christ together. And then the next day they start living it out. They keep going. They keep praying. They start their CYC groups. They join on-campus ministries to see what God's going to do in the lives of their peers all around them every day. This is something I'm so thankful God asked me to be a part of, and I never take that for granted. And so I want to ask you, do you want a part in this movement? Is this something God is asking you to be a part of? Because I pray that God would lead the right people in the right path to reach us, because we want to invite leaders to step up, to live up to their potential, to be the light in their school, and to call others to the light as well. That's what Enlightened is. That's what God's going to continue to do in you.